Receptacles used for performance equipment, such as guitar amplifiers and lighting, require ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFI, protection as per National Electrical Code, or NEC, section 590.6 EON. This is because these receptacles are used by personnel who are likely to be in contact with equipment grounded to the stage structure. Weatherproofing is not required unless the event takes place outdoors in an area where moisture is present or rain is likely. In this case, weatherproof receptacles and covers are required as per NEC section 406.8b2. Receptacles used for arts and crafts booths, such as those powering fans and lighting, do not require GFI protection unless specifically required by the NEC or local codes. However, GFI protection is recommended for outdoor use as it provides sharp protection in the event of a ground fault. Weatherproofing is required if the event takes place outdoors in an area where moisture is present or rain is likely. In this case, weatherproof receptacles and covers are required as per NEC section 406.8b2. Existing wiring and receptacles that are not GFI protected are not code compliant and should be replaced with GFI protected receptacles. Existing receptacles that are not weatherproof should be replaced with weatherproof receptacles if the event takes place outdoors in an area where moisture is present or rain is likely. In the event of a light rain shower, portable GFI breakers or GFI adapters can provide temporary GFI protection. The term in use by personnel refers to receptacles that are used by individuals who are in contact with the equipment plugged into them. In the case of guitar amplifiers, the guitarist is in contact with the amplifier, which is plugged into the receptacle. Therefore, these receptacles are considered in use by personnel and require GFI protection. Understanding the NEC requirements for GFI protection is crucial for ensuring electrical safety at outdoor events, especially where personnel are in close proximity to electrical equipment. The code mandates specific GFI protection for receptacles in areas where individuals are using electrical equipment, such as stage performances or arts and crafts booths. This is to prevent electrical shock in case of any fault. Firstly, let's consider the NEC section 590.6 EON, which specifically addresses temporary installations. This section states that all 125-volt, single-phase, 1520, and 30-amp receptacle outlets that are not part of the permanent wiring of the building or structure and are in use by personnel must have GFI protection for personnel. This means that if you are setting up receptacles for guitar amplifiers while lighting on a stage, and those receptacles are being used by musicians or stagehands, they must be GFI protected. Secondly, the definition of in use by personnel is quite important. It refers to situations where individuals are actively using or interacting with equipment that is plugged into a receptacle. For instance, if a guitarist is holding a guitar connected to an amplifier plugged into a receptacle, that receptacle is considered in use by personnel. Similarly, if a stagehand is adjusting a lighting fixture plugged into a receptacle, that receptacle is also considered in use by personnel. This definition extends to anyone who is operating or closely interacting with the equipment plugged into the receptacle. Next, let's discuss weatherproofing. The NEC section 406.8b2 requires that in wet locations, receptacle outlets must have an enclosure that is weatherproof whether or not the attachment plug is inserted. A wet location is defined as an area subject to saturation with water or other liquids. This includes locations that are exposed to the weather, such as outdoor stages or arts and crafts booths set up in open-air environments. If there is a possibility of rain or moisture, all receptacles and their covers must be weatherproof. Now, let's consider the existing wiring. If the existing receptacles are not GFI protected, they are not code compliant and should be replaced with GFI protected receptacles. Similarly, if the existing receptacles are not weatherproof, they should be replaced with weatherproof receptacles if the event takes place outdoors in an area where moisture is present or rain is likely. It's also important to note that the use of extension cords and temporary wiring must comply with NEC standards. Extension cords must be of the proper gauge for the load they are carrying and must be protected from damage. Temporary wiring must be securely fastened and properly insulated. In case of light rain, consider using portable GFI breakers or GFI adapters to provide temporary GFI protection. These devices can be easily installed and removed, making them a convenient option for short-term events. However, it's important to note that these devices should only be used as a temporary solution and should not replace permanent GFI protection. Let's break down some additional considerations to ensure a comprehensive understanding. Firstly, understanding the types of GFCI protection available is crucial. There are primarily two types: receptacle GFCI and breaker GFCI. Receptacle GFCI involves replacing standard receptacles with GFCI protected receptacles. This is a straightforward solution for individual outlets and is effective for point-of-use protection. Breaker GFCI involves installing GFCI circuit breakers in the electrical panel. This provides protection for the entire circuit, including all receptacles and devices connected to that circuit. The choice between the two depends on the specific needs and setup of the event. Receptacle GFCI is suitable for targeted protection, while breaker GFCI offers broader coverage. Secondly, regular testing of GFCI devices is essential. GFCI devices should be tested monthly to ensure they are functioning correctly. The test involves pressing the test button on the receptacle or breaker, which should trip the device. If the device does not trip, it needs to be replaced immediately. Regular testing ensures that the GFCI is ready to protect against ground faults when needed. Thirdly, the importance of proper grounding cannot be overstated. Grounding provides a safe path for electrical current in the event of a fault, reducing the risk of electric shock. All electrical equipment should be properly grounded, and grounding systems should be regularly inspected to ensure they are intact and functioning correctly. This is particularly important in outdoor settings where the risk of ground faults is higher. Now let's talk about specific scenarios. Consider a scenario where a musician is using a guitar amplifier on stage. The amplifier is plugged into a receptacle that is not GFI protected. If there is a fault in the amplifier, such as a short circuit, the musician could receive an electric shock if they touch the amplifier's metal parts. With GFI protection, the GFCI device would quickly detect the ground fault and trip the circuit, cutting off the electricity and preventing the shock. Now, let's look at the arts and crafts booths. Suppose a vendor is using a fan to keep cool in their booth. The fan is plugged into a receptacle that is not weatherproof. If it starts to rain, water could enter the receptacle and cause a short circuit. With weatherproof receptacles and covers, the water would be kept out, preventing the short circuit and potential electric shock. Next, let's discuss voltage drop. Voltage drop occurs when the voltage at the receptacle is lower than the voltage at the source. This can happen when long extension cords are used or when the circuit is overloaded. Voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction or overheat. To minimize voltage drop, use short, heavy-gauge extension cords and avoid overloading circuits. Furthermore, it's essential to understand the role of permits and inspections. Depending on local regulations, temporary electrical installations may require permits and inspections. These permits ensure that the installation meets all applicable safety codes and regulations. Inspections are conducted by qualified electrical inspectors who verify that the installation is safe and code compliant. Compliance with permit and inspection requirements is crucial for ensuring the safety of the event and avoiding potential fines or legal issues. Now, let's consider the use of surge protection. Surge protection devices protect electrical equipment from voltage spikes or surges. These surges can be caused by lightning strikes, power outages, or other electrical disturbances. Surge protection devices divert the excess voltage away from the equipment, preventing damage. Surge protection is particularly important for sensitive electronic equipment, such as amplifiers and lighting controllers. Also, consider training and awareness. Proper training for event staff and participants is essential for ensuring electrical safety. Staff should be trained on how to identify potential electrical hazards, how to use electrical equipment safely, and how to respond in the event of an electrical emergency. Participants should be made aware of the electrical safety rules and guidelines for the event. Awareness can be raised through signage, announcements, and educational materials. Let's consider documentation and record keeping. Maintain accurate records of all electrical installations, inspections, and maintenance activities. These records can be used to demonstrate compliance with safety regulations and to track the performance of electrical equipment over time. Documentation should include details of the GFCI protection used, the grounding system, and any repairs or modifications made to the electrical system. Now, let's focus on the specifics of portable generators. If portable generators are used to supply power to the event, they must be properly grounded and equipped with GFCI protection. Generators should be located in well-ventilated areas to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. Fuel should be stored safely and away from potential ignition sources. Generator operation should comply with all applicable safety regulations. Let's talk about lockout-tagout procedures. Lockout-tagout procedures are used to prevent accidental energization of electrical equipment during maintenance or repair. These procedures involve disconnecting the equipment from its power source and placing a lock and tag on the disconnect switch to prevent it from being turned on. Lockout-tagout procedures are essential for protecting workers from electrical shock. Now, let's consider the use of personal protective equipment, or PPE. Workers who are involved in electrical work should wear appropriate PPE, such as rubber gloves, safety glasses, and insulated tools. PPE provides an additional layer of protection against electrical hazards. PPE should be regularly inspected and maintained to ensure it is in good condition. Let's consider temporary wiring methods. Temporary wiring methods should comply with NEC standards. Wiring should be securely fastened, properly insulated, and protected from damage. Extension cords should be used sparingly and should not be run across walkways or under carpets. Temporary wiring should be inspected regularly to ensure it is in good condition. Let's discuss the importance of arc flash protection. Arc flash is a dangerous electrical phenomenon that can occur when there is a fault in electrical equipment. Arc flash can cause severe burns, blindness, and even death. Arc flash protection involves using specialized equipment and procedures to minimize the risk of arc flash. Arc flash studies should be conducted to determine the potential arc flash hazards at the event. Now, let's discuss the coordination with local authorities. Coordinate with local authorities such as the fire department and building department to ensure that the electrical installation meets all applicable safety codes and regulations. Obtain all necessary permits and approvals before the event. Be prepared to provide documentation of the electrical installation and safety procedures to the local authorities. Also, consider emergency response planning. Develop an emergency response plan to address potential electrical emergencies such as power outages, electrical fires, or electric shocks. The plan should include procedures for notifying emergency services, evacuating the area, and providing first aid. The plan should be communicated to all event staff and participants. Let's talk about post-event inspections. After the event, conduct a thorough inspection of the electrical installation to identify any damage or wear. Repair or replace any damaged equipment. Document the results of the inspection and any corrective actions taken. Lastly, continuous improvement is the key. Continuously review and improve the electrical safety practices based on experience and feedback. Stay up to date on the latest electrical safety codes and standards. Participate in electrical safety training and education programs. By implementing these comprehensive strategies, you can ensure the electrical safety of outdoor events, protecting both personnel and equipment. Safety should always be the top priority when dealing with electricity, and a proactive approach is essential for preventing accidents and injuries.